The markets of Meridian Station reeked of oil, smoke, and desperation. Elias Cole was just another traveler passing through, until he heard it. A trembling voice cut through the chaos. "Take my toys, human. I just need enough to buy medicine for my mother." He turned and saw her, a pale, lilac-skinned alien girl clutching handmade toys like lifelines, desperation in her eyes, mockery from the crowd, and a choice hanging in the air: walk away or change everything. If stories like this grip you, where humanity proves itself not with power, but with compassion, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next HFY journey. And hey, share this with a friend who loves sci-fi with heart. It helps more than you think. The underbelly of Meridian Station was not a place where kindness survived for long. It was a maze of rusted corridors and dripping pipes, a place where light from the upper galleries never reached. Above, the orbital hub glittered with chrome walkways, holographic fountains, and music spilling from polished halls. But here, in the trading warren, the air was thick with machine oil, smoke, and the sour tang of too many bodies pressed together. Elias Cole walked through it with his hands shoved deep in his jacket pockets. He kept his head down, eyes flicking only to the stalls he passed. He wasn't sightseeing. He wasn't curious. He was hunting for one thing: replacement cooling array components for his freighter. No distractions, no conversations. In places like this, you avoided eye contact unless you were ready to pay for it. Merchants barked like predators, their voices a constant barrage. Best filters in the belt, cheap. Fresh rations, half price, no questions asked. Spare parts, guaranteed to work, or at least look like they might. Most of it was junk, some of it was stolen. All of it was overpriced. Elias moved on, unmoved. He had been in enough markets like this to know the rhythm of desperation. Then he heard it. A voice, thin, trembling, too sharp to be practiced. "Take my toys, human. Please. I just need enough for medicine for my mother." The words froze him in his tracks. It wasn't the language. Plenty of aliens spoke fluent standard. It was the weight inside them, the cracks, the sound of someone at the end of hope. Elias turned his head slowly, against his better judgment. She stood at the far edge of the market beneath a half-dead neon sign that buzzed and flickered with every surge of power. At first glance, she was just a child. Small frame, thin arms, clothes so worn they looked patched more times than original fabric. But her skin told another story. Pale lilac, streaked with faint lines that pulsed softly, like veins glowing beneath the surface. Bioluminescence. Not human. Her eyes were wide, glossy, and violet, shimmering with unshed tears. And in her arms she clutched a bundle. Not credits, not tech, but toys. Handmade toys. Little carvings whittled from scrap metal, dolls stitched from cloth scraps, small clockwork trinkets that ticked and clicked with delicate effort. Each one bore the mark of care, of small fingers working tirelessly with whatever material she could scavenge. The crowd ignored her. A passing merchant spat on the ground near her feet. Two armored traders laughed as they passed, muttering something cruel in a tongue Elias didn't bother to translate. Most didn't even glance her way. To them, she was invisible. A nuisance. But Elias kept staring. He had seen scams before. He had seen children trained to cry on cue, fake injuries, hollow eyes, rehearsed sob stories, all meant to pull credits out of the pockets of the gullible. And yet, there was something different here. Her voice wasn't polished for pity. Her trembling wasn't showmanship. It was exhaustion, real, raw, unpracticed. Elias felt a knot tighten in his chest. Against all logic, he stepped closer. The girl noticed him, startled that anyone had stopped. She blinked rapidly, clutching her bundle tighter. "These toys?" Elias asked softly, crouching down to her level. "You made them?" Her chin bobbed in a quick nod. "Yes, human. I carved them from scrap. My mother taught me, before she got sick. They're worth something. Please take them. Just give me enough to buy medicine from the clinic." Elias reached out and picked up one of the toys from her bundle, a tiny carved bird. Its wings flapped clumsily when he pressed the tail. It was crude, rough around the edges. But there was life in it, a child's heart carved into every scratch. He rubbed the back of his neck, sighing. His better judgment told him to walk away. This wasn't his problem. He had his own ship to keep running, his own debts to settle. But then he looked at her again, at the way her small hands shook as she held out her creations like they were the only pieces of herself she had left to offer. "What's your name?" Elias asked quietly. She hesitated, then whispered, "Lyra." "Well, Lyra," Elias murmured, lowering the toy gently back into her arms. "Keep your toys. Hold on to them." He pulled his credit chit from his pocket, swiped it across his scanner, and transferred a modest sum. Enough for a week's worth of medicine at least, maybe more. He pressed the scanner against her chipped wristband. The funds pinged across with a soft chime. Her eyes went wide. Her breath caught in her throat. You gave me real credits." "Yeah," Elias said, standing again. "For your mom. Don't waste it." Lyra's lip trembled. For a second, her composure broke. She dropped her bundle of toys and threw her thin arms around him, hugging him fiercely. "Thank you. Thank you, human. I'll never forget this." Elias patted her shoulder awkwardly, throat tightening despite himself. "Easy, kid. Just take care of your mother." As Lyra darted into the crowd, clutching the credits to her chest, Elias shoved his hands back into his pockets. He should have walked away, he told himself. But unease crawled through him. On a station like Meridian, a desperate child with fresh credits wasn't safe. And whether he wanted to admit it or not, his night had just changed. Imagine stepping onto a planet where the most dangerous predators don't lurk in the wild. They sleep in children's bedrooms, share family meals, and even protect the young as if they were their own. To the Galactic Council, this wasn't just strange, it was terrifying. Because when aliens finally understood what humans call pets, they realized something chilling. Humanity hadn't just mastered weapons, fleets, or technology. They had mastered something far greater, the loyalty of predators. And that, more than anything, made humans untouchable. If you're already hooked by this unbelievable human twist, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another HFY deep dive. Share this with a friend who loves sci-fi. Because trust me, you'll want someone to talk about this one with. Alright, let us dive straight into the story that made even the galaxy's most powerful leaders shiver. Ambassador Zathkar of the Galactic Council thought he had seen everything. In 3 centuries of interstellar diplomacy, he had walked among crystalline insect kings, debated with hive minds, and even shared meals with species that dissolved food into vapor before absorbing it. But Earth was different. Nothing in his vast experience had prepared him for what humans called pets. At first, the reports seemed like mistranslations. His translator unit kept tripping on the word. Pets? It didn't align with known categories: livestock, war beasts, or labor animals. Humans had insisted the Council's xenobiology team come observe what they called animal companionship. Standard protocol, really. Every new species underwent evaluation. And so Zathkar and his delegation followed Dr. Sarah Chen, their human liaison, through what she called a suburban neighborhood. Rows of houses, trimmed gardens, patches of green lawns, all perfectly ordinary, until the anomaly arrived. Bounding toward them at terrifying speed came a quadruped, 70 kilograms of muscle and teeth. Its fangs glistened. Zathkar's threat assessment implants shrieked red alarms. His guards immediately raised plasma rifles. And yet, Dr. Chen just laughed. "Oh, that's just Max. Don't worry, he's a German Shepherd." German Shepherd. Zathkar's mind translated. Apex predator, pack hunter, designed to chase, pin, and kill prey larger than itself. Before he could process further, Dr. Chen spoke one word. "Max, sit." Instantly, the beast halted, lowered its haunches, tongue lolling out, tail wagging furiously. A threat display? Some strange attempt at disarming them? No. Dr. Chen walked right up to it, stroked its head, and cooed like it was her child. Good boy. The animal's eyes softened. Its tail wagged harder. Zithkar's four eyes narrowed. This thing could rip her apart in seconds. His implants confirmed. Jaw force strong enough to crush bone, reflexes built for pursuit, endurance for the hunt. And then impossibly, a tiny human child ran from the house. Arms flung wide, the child hugged the predator's neck. The beast didn't kill. It licked the child's face with sloppy affection. Zithkar's mouth went dry. I don't understand. This creature could slay your offspring in moments. Dr. Chen smiled as if that wasn't the point. Max? Oh, he's great with kids. Been part of the Johnson family for 8 years. Sleeps in Tommy's room every night. The implications hit Zithkar like a gravity surge. Humans willingly shared their dens with apex predators. Not as slaves, not as war beasts, as family. The tour continued. At another dwelling, Zithkar nearly reeled in shock. The human called it a cat rescue. Inside, he counted 17 small predators prowling freely. His scans picked up retractable claws, night vision capabilities, predatory reflexes sharper than any trained soldier. Yet the elderly human who owned them smiled warmly, stroking one curled on her lap. She rescues strays, Dr. Chen explained. She can't stand to see them homeless. Homeless. Zithkar's tendrils twitched. These humans didn't merely tolerate predators, they worried about their welfare. In the backyard, another sight froze him. A child, no older than 10 cycles, sat atop a massive beast with legs like pistons and hooves, strong enough to crush skulls. That's Thunder, Dr. Chen said fondly. A retired racehorse. Emma's been riding since she was 4. The child guided the half-ton animal with mere whispers and touches. The beast obeyed instantly, weaving through obstacles. Not once did it rebel. Not once did it use its strength against the fragile rider. Zithkar's diplomatic facade cracked. His mandibles clicked nervously. This wasn't domestication. This was something else. A bond so deep that the predators had surrendered their power, becoming guardians instead of threats. By the time the delegation reached the facility, Dr. Chen called an animal shelter. Zithkar's hands trembled. Hundreds of predators and prey alike were caged inside. Dogs, cats, rabbits, even birds. All waiting for adoption, Dr. Chen explained softly. Every year, about 6.5 million animals pass through shelters like these. Most find homes. 6.5 million every year. The council's xenobiologists exchanged horrified glances. Humans actively sought out more predators to bring into their homes. They fed them, healed them, sheltered them, and in return asked only companionship. As they passed a medical wing, the final revelation struck. Surgeons in white coats fought desperately to save the life of a wounded dog struck by a vehicle. The creature wasn't even owned, just a stray. Thousands of human currency units were being spent to save it. When asked why, the veterinarian's answer was simple. We couldn't just let him suffer. That night, in his quarters aboard the diplomatic ship, Zithkar tried to compose his report. His fingers hovered over the console. How did you explain this to the council? They had seen humanity's fleets, their weapons, their armies. But this was far worse. Humans didn't just dominate. They befriended. They tamed predators not with chains, but with trust. They raised killers to love their children. And if Earth's apex predators would die for humans, what would humans themselves do in return? Zithkar sealed the first half of his report with a trembling hand. His conclusion was terrifyingly clear. Elias told himself he'd done enough. He'd given the girl the credits more than most in this sector would ever dream of doing. That should have been the end of it. He had a ship to repair, a job to finish, and no business meddling in the lives of strangers, especially not alien strangers. And yet, his feet didn't carry him toward the parts vendor. They carried him after her. Lyra slipped into the crowd, weaving between armored traders, smugglers, and scavengers. She moved quick for someone so small, ducking into narrow alleys where neon signs buzzed weakly above. Elias kept his distance, not wanting her to see him trailing behind. He wasn't even sure what he was doing. Watching, maybe. Making sure she got home. That was all. just making sure. She reached a rusting hab block at the edge of the market, a squat building with doors that groaned on their hinges. Its light panels flickered half-dead, casting only a faint glow across the cracked floor. Elias stopped by a shadowed pillar as she disappeared inside. Through a cracked window, he saw her kneel beside a low cot. On it lay a woman, older, weaker, her lilac skin dulled to gray. Her breathing was shallow, every rise and fall of her chest a battle. Lyra showed her the credits, tears sparkling in her violet eyes. The woman's hand trembled as it brushed her daughter's cheek. Elias swallowed hard. It wasn't a scam. It wasn't an act. It was real. For a moment, relief flickered through him. He turned to leave, satisfied. But then shadows moved at the end of the alley. 3 men, station toughs, muscles wrapped in stained jackets, tattoos glowing faintly beneath their skin. Predators, circling. "That's the brat," one sneered, jerking his chin toward the hab block. "Saw the human give her credits." Elias froze, his gut twisted. He could walk away. It wasn't his fight. He didn't even know them. But then he remembered Lyra's voice. "Take my toys, human. Please." He remembered the tremble in her hands, the way she clutched those toys like they were her last pieces of hope. And suddenly, walking away wasn't an option anymore. The door to the hab block slammed open. The thugs barged inside. "Hand it over, runt," one snarled, shoving Lyra to the ground. Her bundle of toys scattered across the floor. Her mother tried to rise, coughing weakly. "Leave her, please." The thug backhanded her, sending her collapsing back onto the cot. Lyra screamed and threw herself across her mother, sobbing. That was when Elias stepped into the doorway. "Hey." His voice was steady, low, dangerous. "The kid earned that. Back off." The thugs turned, sneers twisting their faces. "Human, this ain't your business." Elias shrugged once. "Guess it is now." The first one lunged. Elias ducked under the swing, slammed his shoulder into the thug's gut, and drove a fist into his jaw. The man staggered back, dazed. The second drew a blade, an ugly, jagged thing. Elias grabbed a rusted pipe from the floor and met him head-on. Sparks flew as metal clashed. Elias twisted, disarming the thug and cracking him across the head with the hilt. The third hesitated, then charged. Elias braced, blocked the strike, and shoved the man into the wall. A hard knee to the ribs sent him gasping to the ground. Within moments, all 3 lay groaning in the dirt. Elias stood over them, pipe still raised, breathing hard. His knuckles burned, his heart pounded. But he was steady. "You come back here again," he growled, "and I'll make sure you don't get up." The thugs scrambled, dragging each other out into the alley, too beaten to argue. Silence fell. Only Lyra's sobs remained. Elias dropped the pipe, chest heaving. He looked at the girl, clinging to her mother's hand with wide, terrified eyes. Gratitude shimmered there too. Something unspoken. Something heavy. You saved us," she whispered. Her mother winced, voice raspy. "Human, thank you. We have little to offer." Elias shook his head. "Don't. Just rest. The girl's got medicine money now. That's enough." But Lyra shook her head fiercely. She scrambled across the floor, gathering her toys, and pressed the bundle into Elias's hands. "Please take them," she begged. "They're all I have. You gave me hope when no one else would. You deserve them." Elias stared down at the crude little carvings, the stitched dolls, the tiny bird with flapping wings. His throat tightened unexpectedly. Slowly, he nodded. "All right, Lyra. I'll keep them. As a reminder." Her violet eyes lit up, relief breaking through her tears. "Then I'll never forget you." And that's the thing about humans in the galaxy, isn't it? We're not remembered for the biggest guns, or the fastest ships, or the brightest technology. We're remembered for moments like this, when one stranger stops, listens, and chooses compassion over convenience. Elias could have walked away, but instead he left with something far greater than credits or parts for his ship. He left with a reminder that kindness, once given, echoes across lives, And maybe that's humanity's true power. Not dominance, not fear, but the ability to turn a desperate plea into hope. So the next time someone tells you humans don't belong among the stars, remember Lyra's words. I'll never forget you. Because sometimes all it takes is one humanoid to change an entire universe.